I now would like to call to order the first Kiwanis Connects show of 2025 to order now. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and germs. That's right. How's everybody doing? Aaron Phillips here, Kiwanis Connects. You're watching us for the first show, January 3rd, 2025. And as you can see, this is going to be called the Beauties and the Beast show because I am not alone. I am the Beast with three. I feel like Bosley from Charlie's Angels right now. That's what I'm feeling like right now. Thank you for joining us, making us part of your Friday. Boy, oh boy, thank you for watching us, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook or in a couple of days, you know the routine up on Roku. Right below me in the center square, I feel like a mini Hollywood Squares version is, of course, Doc Val. How are you, my friend? Fresh off of New Year's and Rose Parade stuff.
Aloha. I am smiling like a crazy lady because two of my best friends are on this show.
Only two? I just got off the list. Oh, well.
No, you are like Ohana beyond belief.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just saved myself. It is always a pleasure when you get to start the new year off on your best foot. And so I have felt like that from the moment the clock struck midnight, that this is the year. 2025 is your year. It's my year. And I am so jazzed to have three of you and John in the background. How about
that? Well, first of all, I want to welcome Laura. How are you, Laura?
Great. How about you?
Doing very well. What is going on outside your window right now? Anything exciting?
Sunshine. It's about 60 degrees. We're doing well.
And you're down in New Orleans, right? Or Louisiana?
Close. I'm in Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge. And I wanted to go to Laura first because here in Virginia Beach, I'm going to hear two words in Monday's weather forecast: wintry mix. I have not heard those words in nearly 28 years, and I got it coming on Monday. But our good friend Kathy, who's in Erie, Pennsylvania, where I spent 2 years of my college career, Barron College, I'm obsessed looking out her window over her right shoulder because I could see the snow falling. She shared with us she's got 3 feet of snow, and I just saw a tractor go by just as we went on the air, shoveling, doing something out there. And you know what, to her, she's like, that's a normal Friday around here, 3 feet of snow. No big deal. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for joining us. Miss Kathy, how you doing today besides being a little chilly and wintry over there?
I am great. So happy to be a part of the show today.
I got to tell you, one of the best things that happened to me shortly after I moved here back in June, August was our decon here for the Capital District. And went out there, wanted to meet all the Kiwanians that Laura, Maritza wants to know, Laura, where you, you're from Baton Rouge. Maritza, she's down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, somewhere down there. Anyway, so I'm running around the hotel and my wife and I are down one of the aisles looking at all the stuff. And all of a sudden this lady comes up behind me. She goes, Aaron. And I stopped and like, first, do I owe this person money? That's the first thing I'm thinking about when somebody yells your name, right? So I stopped and she goes, do you recognize me? Do you know who I am? And I'm listening to the voice and I'm like, I'm really trying. And she says, it's me. It's Kathy Zemansky. And that was when I met Kathy for the first time in person, at Decon here last year, which was kind of strange. Erie, coming in from Vegas, and we meet in Portsmouth, Virginia, Kathy, of all places.
That is absolutely amazing because, I met Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
almost 10 years ago. And so we started opening clubs. We were both formula chairs. And so we were traveling around. And Kathy, it's hard to believe it's been almost 10 years.
Could you tell? I was like, has it been that long?
Yeah, absolutely. And then I had the absolute pleasure of meeting Laura. And, there are very few places that I have a list that say I'm not going to ever really go there because I'm not sure it's where I need to be. But Laura convinced me this past year to go to Tupelo, Mississippi. So you got to know there's a whole lot of love there. And Tupelo is phenomenal. And so we got people popping in everywhere that know both of you. And Kathy Tutty says she was in Portsmouth with you guys. And so, wow. And, Aaron, beyond that, these ladies are the top of the top, cream of the cream, of being able to invite members into our clubs and to keep members in our clubs, because both of them invited me into their clubs.
Well, it's as we go through this, I want to let our audience know. I mean, these ladies were kind enough to provide bios for me, and I don't usually read bios, but let me just say this about Kathy. Throughout the entire Kiwanis career, she's been a distinguished everything. So if you're distinguished, to be a distinguished governor, lieutenant governor, club president, one of the things you need to do is have club growth. So we know that has to be there. Herman, good morning out in 29 Palms. You can also send some of your C's candies that's left over my way if you'd like to. Good morning. I'm always plugging. I never get from him. So, membership is very important when you have to get those distinguished titles. And of course, there's Laura. She's only like number 1 in appointment setting in Kiwanis International, number 3 for recruiting. So and also distinguish up and down in awards. So, you got some juice here with these two ladies, coupled with Val. Me, I'm just driving the ship. Don't worry about me, folks. So membership is key here. And the timing is really great here, ladies. As we enter 2025, it's like the slate is clean calendar-wise, even though we have until October. And so membership is going to be key for a lot of reasons moving forward. And to the audience out there, I put this in the promo. I hope you all are going to be ready to take some notes. If you don't, you can always go back and watch it again, because these ladies are going to come up with some juicy stuff. We're going to talk about membership and give you some good ideas to make sure clubs are strong across the world. Because, of course, this show is international. We are seen in parts of South Africa and the Philippines, and we're all over the place. It's a shorter list where we're not watched, which means we need members there, ladies. Get to it.
Well, you got to be part of that we thing. And I think the best way to get members is actually to start with your home club and to be able to nurture and grow your home club so that you look absolutely exciting, because I know my home club always resented that I would go off and go and recruit 25 members. I don't know how you feel about that, but Kathy, what's your perspective on this? Where are you coming from in this process that helps you be so successful at this?
I think we have a lot of members out there, and there's a lot of well-meaning Kiwanians. You know what I mean? They all talk Kiwanis, and in the past, the method that many of our members used worked very well. But our changes in our culture, the shifts in priorities, they're making those methods so less productive. And Valerie, you are right on. The way that we have to do it now is, talk to those people, the people that, a lot of people, they don't want to ask people to join. I got it. We'll find another job for you to do when it comes to membership. I can't do it myself. I can't get anyone to help. Reach out to people, the Lauras, the Vals, the Kathys, whomever, your lieutenant governor, whomever you need to do. There are so many people out there. And, we also hear that I don't know who to ask. Somebody's already asked them. Well, you don't know that. So, and keeping track of everything. So, what David and I decided was we need to, is this a good time to talk about this, Val?
Almost, because
Okay.
that is a big splash.
Okay. So,
Because one of the things is like Laura is always making phone calls, and I'm not sure. I want to make sure she doesn't start dialing while she's on here.
That's a good point.
Well, why not? Why not? Let's show the proof of the pudding. Come on, let's get them in. Let's go.
It was almost done, Laura.
International recruiting. By the way, Laura, we do have those 4 slides ready for you whenever you want to reference those 4 slides you sent along. So just so you know.
Oh, throw them in whenever you want to.
I know, Laura, that you are a dynamo, and I've learned so much from you. And so, Kathy shared a little bit of her philosophy. What's yours about all of this?
Well, regardless of whether you are calling for an appointment or recruiting a new member, especially when you're recruiting a new member, I always quote Dr. Val. About 5 years ago, she told me, Laura, I go where the love is. And I use that quote every time with every recruit. And what I do is I try to listen to whatever they have to say about 50% of the time. And I build a relationship from what they say. And I jot down what they say, whether I'm on the phone or sitting in front of them, trying to recruit them. And then I talk about what they say, and I let them know the value that they have for Kiwanis. And people love to hear their own value, and they love to talk about themselves because they know more about themselves than they know about anyone or anything else on the planet. And that's what I do. Once they hear that they have value, they want to become a part of it because they seldom hear that they've got value.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad, Laura.
I may not share a whole lot of what Kiwanis has, but I always make sure that I share what they've got to offer Kiwanis because that's what they want to hear.
Laura, I'm so glad that you used the word value. Value. If you remember a couple of months back when I think Ben was on it was one of the calls. I think we had Ben on from KI, and we were talking about membership because we were talking about the dues increase, and we actually all of us talked about value and whether you're selling a membership to Kiwanis or widgets or a television or a car, if the person who you want to buy doesn't see the value in it, they won't even take it for free. So I'm so heartwarming right now, Laura, that you use that word value because we can be the best salesperson in the world. And I hate to use that because we really shouldn't be trying to sell anybody on anything. But if we build enough value for the person who has a reason to do something and they see the value in whatever it is, then you've got success. And I'm so happy to hear that is part of the process, because I think for a lot of people that's missing. They just think a cold invite's going to be enough. Come to a meeting, wham bam, and that's it. Not always going to be the case.
That is so true.
And people go where the love is, just like Val told me 5 years ago. They go where the love is.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So why don't we do this before we get ready to go to our first break? John, can you bring up one of the first slides? And let's talk about this one. Go ahead, Laura, or Kathy, or wherever.
All right, that's one of my slides, build, nurture, and retain. That comes from Kiwanis International. And what I try and concentrate on is the build segment. And build means you have to set appointments before you go in to meet with the person. We used to do it an old-fashioned way where we would do cold calls, and that is very difficult to recruit. You spend a lot more time when you go into a cold call. The person is not expecting you. It may not jive with their schedule, but when you set an appointment, like this morning before I took off for one of my own appointments, I had a sheriff call me. We're opening 4 new clubs in the Jacksonville, Florida area. And I had a sheriff call me. His name was Sheriff Bill. I forget what his last name was, but he said he definitely wanted an appointment. I said, great. What day can you meet? A lot of times people will only offer him a couple of times. I offer him any time. I don't care when they want to meet. I just want to meet with them. And he said, sure, I'll meet. And I was thrilled to death to get him. I signed him up. I said, and I will follow up with an email. I think it's very important when you set an appointment that you do email them after you set the appointment, due to the fact that in today's time, we have so many scams that are going on. And people want to see your picture. They want to know what you do, and they want to know what Kiwanis does. And I try and put a little information about Kiwanis in the email. And I try and put in the email when we will hold the organization meeting, where it will be held, who the sponsoring club is, who the coach is, just a little information.
Absolutely. And I know there's a couple of more steps in there, but this is what we call a tease. We're going to cover those. And more importantly, Kathy's creation apparently is what we're calling. And don't forget, later on, we've got Val's wow moments and mental stress reliever. And of course, dun, 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 back for 2025 dad jokes. You're watching Kiwanis Connects. We'll be right back.
Kiwanis International is a global community of clubs, members, and partners dedicated to improving the lives of children, one community at a time. Today, we stand with more than 550,000 members, from K-Kids to Key Club to Kiwanis, for all ages in over 80 countries around the world. Each community has different needs, and Kiwanis empowers members to pursue creative ways to serve the needs of children, such as fighting hunger, improving literacy, and offering guidance. Kiwanis clubs host nearly 150,000 service projects each year.
For more information, contact Herman Platsky at KiwanisClub of 29Palms.com.
The Granville Allied Gardens Kiwanis Club was founded in 1960. We provide service to Allied Gardens, Granville, San Carlos, Del Cerro, and surrounding communities of San Diego. Our support extends to the youth of our community by sponsoring programs at Hearst Elementary School K-Kids, Lewis Middle School's Builders Club, Patrick Henry High School's Key Club, and San Diego State University Circle K. Some of our favorite events and charities we support include the First Friday Concerts in the Park, patriotic holiday flags on Waring Road, Meals on Wheels, Cub Scouts, and the Allied Gardens Little League. Join our club. We are looking for people who care about making a difference for our children, for our community, and for our world. For more information about our Kiwanis Club and becoming a member, please visit www.alliedgardenskiwanis.org.
All right, welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. John, can you put that flyer up for me? There you go. This is a save the date, Saturday, September 20th. I invite the entire Kiwanis world to come down here to Virginia Beach. Why? Because the Virginia Beach Kiwanis Club, Richard Marson and myself are part of the committee planning the historic Kempsville Family Fun Festival. Believe it or not, the very first shot fired during the Revolutionary War was right here in Old Kempsville, in the town that I currently reside in. September 20th, 2025, right down there at the bottom, we're looking for vendors where people just come out and have some fun. You can check it out. Kempsville Fest, say that 10 times fast, .com/vendors. Yours truly has been tapped to be the town crier that day, wardrobe and all.
That's pretty cool. That is
they're gonna create a box, and it's gonna say the internet on it, and I'm gonna stand on top of the box.
I love it. I love it.
Anyway, I will be in full garb, so they say, if we can find a jacket big enough, because I don't think the Revolutionary War guys back then were as big as I am now, so I don't know how that's going to work. Anyway.
I'm going to do a little revenue source thing here, because I love what you just did. Anybody watching, if you want to advertise your club event, send us a flyer and $25, and we will do a 30-second for you on our show. And we'll post you on our Facebook page. And
there you go. So send that in to KiwanisConnectsInfo@gmail.com, or contact us through the Facebook page, which most of you are probably watching right now, Kiwanis Connect Show. That's a great idea. What did you say, $50 or $25?
I said 25, and the reason I say 25 is because I'm really hoping that Kiwanis clubs will remember on their branding to put their Kiwanis logo. And so this is going to be one of the best ways to market that Kiwanis is everywhere. And so I don't want it to be expensive. I just want to make sure that we help pay for the show.
we call that a live read. So email me. I'll go over all the details, payment, and all that stuff. It's a great idea. So just what I just did for Kempsville with Virginia Beach, this is actually a community service event between Kiwanis, Rotary, at JC's and the church. I'm sorry that we're going to be holding this at. It's an Episcopal church right here in town. So it's a joint effort, but the Virginia Beach Kiwanis Club, myself and one other member are part of the planning committee. Okay, great idea. Emails, but if you want to do a full-length commercial, do that too, because $50 goes back to the Rose Float Club so we can start planting more roses for next year's float or this year's float or whatever floats next.
2026. So,
oh, yeah.
Okay. I know it's coming soon.
Go ahead.
I was just going to share, as we were looking at what Laura's talked about and the tools that are out there, these tools have been developed over the past 10 years. And I want to give a lot of credit to the Eye of the Tiger Kiwanis Club, which all of us are members of, because that club's total mission and service is to recruit and retain new members and build new clubs. And so a lot of tools were developed out of the inception of being a charter member. I know Kathy and I were charter members of that club. And I developed a number of tools that are now being used. And I look at them and I go, wow, I have fingerprint and being able to help bring people into our clubs. But my friend Kathy has developed something that, and I want, is this the inaugural time that you're showing it to the world, Kathy? Or have you shown it to the world in multiple places already? And I'm just late to the game.
There's only a couple people that have seen it, Val, just a couple of people. So yeah, let's call this the inaugural event.
Woo!
I like that. Woo!
I like scoops. Breaking news.
Breaking news. Hear it now. So basically, all of us on this call, we've gone out and we've helped open clubs. We've helped our existing clubs grow and so forth. And we got to thinking, when we're working with our existing clubs, what's happening with the leads? What are we doing? And as many of you know, working on existing clubs is a whole lot easier than opening a new club. And especially if you have somebody like Laura who's calling to make appointments, because if you're doing this right to boost your Kiwanis Club, you're making those appointments. So we got to thinking about this, and it was like, how do we go into a community that has a club? For example, I'm going to use Titusville, Pennsylvania. They have a Kiwanis Club. How do we go in and work with them to increase their membership? So we came up with an app. We're calling it Kathy's app because, we're highly intelligent people here. What else would you call it? So, but what it does basically is we go in, and it's very similar. We use a Google Sheet. It's sort of like a database. And I know Google Sheet's not a database, but that's what we're referring it to it. And it's the same thing as, opening your new club. You start putting in all the information, the names, the customer name, the contact, and everything else. And you have somebody calling them, but you're keeping track of all of this, similar to opening a new club. But what the beauty of this is when you go into it, there is a map on this app. So for example, I have Joe going out and he's going to go to 5 appointments. I look at the app and it shows me what are the 5 closest businesses, so I can keep him in one area and he can go to those 5 businesses. Laura's going to 4 businesses. I go to the app and look. So it has a map integrated right into it to make it a lot easier when we're working on whether it's a new club or existing clubs, quite frankly. And then the other thing that we've been doing with this app is as we move along, it's like, if we're using this map, why are we not using AI to generate, new leads and so forth? I am a huge LinkedIn person. If I'm going in to work on your existing club, I'm going into LinkedIn. Who's in that area? Who can I talk to? Who might be interested? But one of the things we found with AI, which is interesting, is, okay, so there's a salon in Titusville, Pennsylvania. Tell me, I go into AI, tell me about this. Tell me about this. Do they volunteer? My next question, do they volunteer in the community? Do I feel that they're likely to volunteer in Kiwanis? What types of projects might they be interested in? And all of this is through AI. And believe it or not, it comes up with all of this stuff. Yes, it goes into people's social media who has said they work at this salon. Oh, look, yeah, Terry's involved in 2 different communities, in 2 different organizations. So when you go in, talk to Terry, or when you're talking to them, you have right in front of you, oh, I see that you're involved in this and this and this. How are you doing that in your community? perhaps Kiwanis could relate and help you out with this. So a lot of the app is awesome and it has the map, but as we move along, we're also realizing we need to, as Kiwanians, take a look at AI and look at the strengths of AI and how it can help us, whether it's with new clubs or our existing clubs. So it's a way, a database to keep track of everything, but also with that map, when our people are going out to help, it's there as well.
Kathy, quick question. I want to make one comment for those who are watching that maybe are not familiar with Google Sheets. I want to just put this in perspective, folks. It is very similar to Microsoft Excel spreadsheets, just so you get a conceptual view if you don't know what Google Sheets are, but you may be more familiar with Excel. So I just wanted to share that. Maritza asks a question: do you also pull membership leads from existing members linked in contacts?
We sure do. Absolutely. That's the best way to get the leads, right? Right from your existing members. So absolutely. And yes, Aaron, thank you for that, because I'm not a very big Google fan. I'm a Microsoft person. So,
right.
But thank you for adding that. Yes. Did that answer your question, Marissa?
Yeah, Maritza, just let us know if it does. So I want to ask this now. We did have some visuals that we were hoping to make available for today's show. Unfortunately, they were not compatible with John's program. So is there a place that people can see samples of the spreadsheet, or where they can get the app or things like that?
Absolutely. If they want to email me, cathy@szy.com, and I'm sure one of you will put it up there, but I can send them the info. I'd love to send them the information and show them how it could work with their club.
Give the address again, Kathy.
At S as in Sam, Zulu, Yankee.com.
Okay, because I'm sure John will put that up in a crawl momentarily. So, okay, I just want to know, because again, we're talking about what it is, but I know a lot of people are visual learners. They may want to actually see it, but I love the concept of bringing it together, Val.
And it really ties in with what Laura was saying, because some people take a long time to get to what they love and what they like. And so if you've got a couple of these clues when you're talking with them, Laura, that probably helps guide into the conversation. Have you used this tool yet?
There's a new tool out that Kiwanis International bought, and it's called Kiwanis.cpdesk.us. And that's the tool I'm currently using for Florida. That's where you can wash like a chamber list totally off in a matter of minutes, instead of taking one lead at a time, painstakingly put them on one at a time. Gary Levine talked, he's the vice chair of Kiwanis International Club Opening Team, and he talked Jeff Otis into purchasing the CP desk. And we're starting to use that now over Google Docs, because Google Docs was taking way too much time. Now, the only downfall to this is sometimes it will only give you the businesses. But what I've done is, since I'm kind of heading up the Florida openings, I've put someone in charge of getting the lead person for the business, and they enter all the leads. I think you two know her, Barb Brewer from the Florida district. She's putting all the lead people down, and because she does not like to call, and that's what you need to do. The people that don't like to call, let them do the jobs that they like to do. Everybody's good at something, and she loves to do that. I have another contact, a past governor, Otha Britton. He does the email reminders right before we meet with the people. We go in to physically meet with the people. He'll do it a couple of days before, so we won't have any no-shows. And, he's a computer wizard. He gets that done in little or no time. And we don't have to do it ourselves as the people that are boots on the ground. So that really helps.
And you just shared you've shared 3 key things that I want to make sure if people are taking notes, that they are writing this stuff down, because it's like these are gems. And the very first one is that it's like you show up to meet with people on their schedule, not on yours. And so that part shows that you value them and you value their time. And then you had also shared that you need to remind people. And I think oftentimes we don't do that. I am really guilty of that, where I don't remind people that I'm getting ready to show up, even though I may have made an appointment 2 weeks ago. I just assume that I'm the most important thing on their calendar. And so reminding people that you're going to show up, I think it was that second thing. And then the third thing is that you need to actually talk to people. And the in-person is what Kiwanis is about. And so if people are out there taking notes, I hope you're writing as fast as I am, because these are key. In the millennial generation, they may say that they only want to talk to you via your cell phone. They may say that they only do X, Y, or Z, but the reality is they get the most done when they're talking with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And
Here's a good thing.
when you're setting appointments, you can't meet them because they're on vacation, they're not at work, one thing or another, and you may need to set the appointment by Zoom. And I've recruited a lot of people by Zoom, so don't discount that. Also, if you get a gatekeeper that won't let you through, a lot of times I'll call Edward Jones. And if any of you in the audience are Edward Jones, please forgive me for saying this, but your gatekeeper oftentimes keeps us from getting through. They protect you so you can keep doing your business all day long. I oftentimes call Edward Jones Friday evening after they've closed or on the weekend. And Edward Jones people are very, very work-minded. They oftentimes go into work on the weekends, or they beat the gatekeeper in on Monday morning, and they will return their calls ahead of the gatekeeper. So remember things like that. You learn through experience. And what I do is I learn. Do you remember when you took Amplify? And my favorite video was Dan failing forward. Well, I've learned all this from failing forward. And I've learned how you do certain things from experience. I wasn't as good as I am now at the beginning. I've learned it from trial and error and all kind of different ways. But we are really excited. One last thing. We are really excited about these 4 new clubs we're building in Florida, because we have Lee Kwan Young coming in, our international president. We have 8 international board members coming. We have our international team will be there, and a lot of locals from Florida are participating. And we've invited all the governors from across North America to come in, so we can train them on how to build new clubs.
Wow.
We also feel like it's extremely important, like on the slide you saw, to nurture and retain, but we feel like building new clubs is at the forefront to keep Kiwanis alive.
I want to play devil's advocate here for a second on new club building. One of my own personal pet peeves about membership is retention, and members who maybe leave one club for another that are never followed up by any other club within a division or district to see why you left, whatever, and open a door for them to come to another club. Because that happened to me with all my credentials in Vegas. After I had to close down a club that my wife and I started, it was many, almost 5 years, which is actually kind of how Kiwanis Connects got relaunched or got launched 3 years ago under the original iteration. But are we addressing members? Are we addressing Circle K graduates who are out there in the adult world? Are we addressing those things as well as new members and new blood?
Aaron, so many clubs, there are a lot of clubs. My club, for example, does it, and I know many others do, and it is on the Kiwanis website. I don't have the site in front of me, but there are, when somebody leaves, there's an exit interview to do with your members. So why are you leaving? And it could be simple as moving. Okay, if you're moving, I have your email address. Are you good with me emailing you when you land, and I will help you find a Kiwanis club? Are you good with me doing this? Now, if they're leaving because we just did not meet their needs. No matter how good your Kiwanis Club is, there are occasional people that just, we don't meet their needs. Well, then let me find a club for you. And then as far as Circle K, Kiwanis International has a very strong Circle K Alumni Association. And what every Kiwanis club is supposed to be doing that sponsors a Circle K is going to those members, not just at their last meeting. We're supposed to work with them throughout the year and then say, hey, did you know there is an alumni network? It's to help you. It's to help you move on. When it's time to find a realtor, when it's time to get a reference, when it's time for whatever, that alumni association is out there. And if your club is doing its due diligence to work with the Circle K, they are making sure that they are aware of the alumni. And as a matter of fact, helping them join that alumni.
It's okay.
No, go ahead, say it.
No. Well, how many club presidents or clubs, board of directors, whoever's supposed to do those exit interviews, know they should be doing that? Because in all my years of Kiwanis, when I've moved from Jersey out there, I guess I didn't leave clubs because of bad issues. I left because I moved, and I'm the one. Gary Graham, God bless him, before I left Cal Neva, I spoke to him and said, dude, give me some direction out there in Virginia Beach. And he's the one that gave me names of the people to reach out here. So I'm the oddity. I came looking, and Val was very supportive of that. And she knew somebody out here as well that I connected with. But how many clubs know that this exit interview exists? Because
I think all of them, Aaron, and the reason, and I'll put this out there because one of the things that is harder than asking someone to join is to have the conversation about why are you leaving us? Because people are so protective of their clubs. They see their clubs as their second family. And when someone leaves the family, it's like grief. And they don't go through all the steps because they want to just say, okay, good luck out there. And I discovered, like Kathy has shared, that when I go in to help clubs rebuild and I help build new clubs, I always pull the former members list. And because Kiwanis International keeps the data of former members in by zip code and contact them. That's how I found you when we were working on the downtown Las Vegas club. Because your name showed up in that area. And so, and I can see your face. You are working it. You're working the process.
Well,
bring it out.
No, because I don't want, that's not what this show's about. The things in my head are not the things that is the basis for today's show. Perhaps there'll be another show for that.
Okay.
So I hear what y'all are saying, but I would venture dollars to donuts. When I go back to my two clubs next week, right? I'm going to pointedly ask the two presidents if they know that this exists. And I would bet you dollars to donuts, I go 0 for 2 about whether they both know that there's an exit interview. I'm just saying, because even the
I'm not going to take that bet because I know you're right.
So that's so neither here nor there about an exit interview, whether people are close about their own clubs. Yes, the legwork of doing new members like with Laura and Kathy and Val and whatever new members, like, there's a guy that I work out with. I've got to rearrange. I want to take him to the town center club where Kimberly Temple is our lieutenant governor. He works right downtown. It's a noontime lunch. So here I am. I'm going to be, I'm set. So I'm doing that. But I think those who are afraid to talk to people that they don't know by a cold call new member, their task should be to reach out to those who are familiar with Kiwanis and go after the former members that moved or they left one. Look, I could have people that left the Chesapeake Club for some reason, and nobody reaches out to them from Virginia Beach, or the lieutenant governor says, why don't we match you up? I think less energy could be spent in working on members who left one club to go for whatever the reason, personal, and had a bad taste in their mouth. They need a fresh start, and getting them back in the fold, then starting from ground zero, which is a lot more work, cultivating leads, cold leads, businesses, members within the business. And I think that's what scares people off. We've got low-hanging fruit of former Kiwanis members all over the world that are just waiting to be approached to say, hey, I understand you left Club X. I'm sorry. Why don't you come with me? And just like it happened to me, after a 3-hour meeting with the lieutenant governor I had 3 years ago to discuss the original iteration of this show, I looked at the lieutenant governor and I said, how long is it going to, I'm surprised you haven't asked yet. 3 hours. And finally, the person, I'm going to just say, the person looking at me said, what do you mean? In 3 hours, we're sitting here and you haven't asked me why, A, I'm not a member of Kiwanis anymore, B, what happened to my Lakes Club, and C, would you like to join my club? 3 hours I'm sitting there. Why?
Aaron, you brought something up that I know I, for one, am going to, I wrote it down. I'm going to send my lieutenant governor a message, just reminding her that, perhaps my membership growth for our district too, reminding them that maybe we need to remind clubs to do, just because my club does one doesn't mean obviously the rest of the clubs do one.
Well, Maritza from Las Vegas puts in their interviews with a question mark, not really talked about.
Yes. Yes.
And who administers the interview? Is it the board? Is it the president? Is it the membership chair? Who's supposed to administer this exit interview and have this discussion with somebody? I don't know that. Who is it?
In my club, it's the membership chair.
Okay, which would make sense.
Yeah.
In my club, it's the president. So it's very different. And so I'm gonna make a commitment to you. Yes, let it fly.
Breathe, Lois, breathe.
But my commitment to you is on Sunday here in the Cal-Neva district, we are meeting with International President Lee Kuan Yew, and the whole conversation on Sunday is about membership. All of our district membership leaders are going to be on tap. And so my commitment to you is we need to look at the last 2,500 members that we have lost over the last 5 years and do just what you're saying. Go through and have people focused in on those members that walked away.
We're gonna go to break, and I want to go to break with this one last thought. When Eileen and I had to make the decision to close down the Kiwanis Club of the Lakes in Las Vegas after 10 years because nobody else was stepping up as officers and nobody else was trying to get members, we shut it down. The individual who I first connected with out there, Lieutenant Governor Phil Junkins, okay? Loved the man, loved his wife, Sylvia, okay? We left Kiwanis Club of the Lakes, we shut it down. We were like lepers. Nobody committed, nobody contacted to me. One day in CVS, I'm standing behind Sylvia Junkins. And I asked her, I said, Sylvia, how's Phil doing? She turned around to me and she said, he died a year ago, and I was wondering why you were not there at his funeral. And I said, you know why, Sylvia? Because nobody within our stupid division picked up the phone to tell me that Phil Junkins passed because I'm no longer an active Kiwanian. Okay?
Aaron?
And then 2 years later, same thing happened with another member. Teddy Gibbs, may he rest in peace. His wife, Karen, member out there in Henderson. Val, you probably know who I'm talking about out there. I know
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Eddie, I saw when I went through my first lieutenant governor training, he reminded me so much of my grandfather who is gone that I fell in love with this man. Invited him and his wife out to my daughter's graduation from high school. Never was notified that he passed away because I was no longer active, because nobody picked up the phone to find out why a distinguished two-time lieutenant governor, Hickson Award winner, et cetera, was no longer involved with the Lakes Club to pick up the phone and say, hey, would you like to come to our club and have a meeting so I can stay in the loop? Not one person, and that's my biggest pet peeve with Kiwanis. And with that, it's 1:45. I am behind. I'm sorry, ladies. We're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll finish up. I need bad dad jokes to get me out of this.
The Kiwanis Club of Folsom Lake is a group of fun, passionate people from all different backgrounds and interests who are dedicated about making our community a better place for children. We have 3 fundraising events throughout the year which allow us to support an after-school program for disadvantaged kids, high school scholarships, sponsors Key Club in high schools, and supports the Kiwanis Family House, which builds a supportive, healing community around families who are impacted by medical emergencies. Come check us out by visiting our website, www.folsomlakekiwanis.org.
Hi, my name is Edgar Alejandro. I'm the co-founder of Rising Again Productions. So we've been here in Vegas producing films for the past couple of years, and we've seen our fair share of studios. We've worked in our fair share of studios, and to be honest, WWDBTV has been our favorite by far. John is so welcoming. The space is wonderful. It's perfect for what we need. We've had rehearsals here. We've had callbacks here. We've had table reads here. So if you're a Vegas creative, or really just a creative coming into Vegas, definitely check out this space. Chat with John. I think you'll find that this studio has everything that you'll need as well.
All right, welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. I'm feeling better because I took a swig of M&Ms during the break. That's right. I took a swig. There they are right there. Doggone it. All right, welcome back. I'm sorry I got off on that tangent, ladies and gentlemen out there in the world. And to our guests, I apologize. But you could tell that's a pet peeve and something that I don't think we share enough of. All right, Val, I'm going to throw it back to you to finish up before we go to some of our final segments for the show.
Okay. And so you really got me thinking, Aaron. And so even though you've had your M&Ms, I still need some of that membership and thingy going on here. So I invited these two ladies, and I think that we have learned so much from both of them. And so, Kathy, I would like to use an integrated process between what you're doing. And Laura, you talked about the new program, and can you repeat it? It's Kiwanis CPS desk.
It's Kiwanis dot C as in cat, P as in Paul, desk .us.
Okay. And so I would like to use a combo of those to work on my club and my home club. And so can we use that as kind of like a beta on how to work together? We have in my home club about 120 people that used to be members at some point in time over the last 10 years. And so we have enough people to go backwards and enough people to go forward. Can we commit to doing that?
I'll do anything for you, Val, so absolutely.
Oh, I love you. I love you. And Laura, I know that you're really, really busy. So I'm just going to ask you on, some tips and tricks on how to use the CPS desk, because it's available to all Kiwanis clubs, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that Gary Levine he's the computer guru.
Mm-hmm.
He's the vice chair for the international committee. He will probably need to do maybe a 30-minute segment on Zoom for anyone that would be interested. If you're interested, send me my emails on there. Send me an email, and we'll see how many people are interested. And after we open these Florida clubs, we'll see if he can do that for us.
Okay.
One more thing I'd like to interject here. I don't know if you've got another 30 seconds. I could say something.
Oh, no, you've got time. Say it.
When you open a new club, and I think with all existing clubs, and I think Aaron hit upon this, you need to have a phone tree. You don't need to call everybody every week, but the people who are not there at the club meeting, you need to call and find out why they're not there. Because it's like Aaron said, they might be in the hospital. They may have died. You don't know. I call a lot, as you well know, or I wouldn't be ranked as high as I am. I think sometimes I call in my sleep. I call on the weekend, 7 days a week, 24/7. And I probably need to get off here because I promised I'd call all afternoon.
Of course you did.
I think it's very important for all clubs to have a phone tree. And a lot of times I find the board doesn't have a whole lot to do, especially new board members of new clubs. So let them do the calling. Divide the club up. New clubs don't have a whole lot of members. And they always come to me and say they won't come to the meetings. Well, if you don't call and show them love, they're not going to come.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, when you have the organization meeting, pass out a sheet to each new member. Tell them who their sponsoring club is, because they're like a deer in the headlights at that org meeting. They don't know what's going on. Tell them who their sponsoring club is. Tell them who their coaches are. Tell them who the executive director or secretary of the district is. Tell them who the officers of their sponsoring club are and their contact information. That way they'll know who to go to. They always try and come back to me, and I may be 3 or 4 clubs down the road. And I'm going, now, who is this? What club was it that I opened? Anyway, I think it's very important to do that, to let them know at the org meeting who they can go to if they have a problem.
Can I leave with 4 tips?
Absolutely.
When you are working with existing clubs, and asking for members, make sure whoever's asking people to join, that they know what the cost to join the Kiwanis is. Make sure that they're taking an application or a brochure with them. Instead of going on and on and on, like our club does this, our club does this, our club does this, make sure that they only talk about 2 or 3 projects. And then the fourth thing is, maybe they are not interested, but always leave with that ask for referrals. Those are my 4 tips for it, whether it's a new club, but mainly if you're going out for your existing clubs. Those are things you must need to know, so you know what you're talking about when you're talking to Joe, asking him to join your club.
Yeah, several times I've asked for referrals, and people have given me enough referrals I could build the club on the referrals alone. So it's very important, Kathy.
Well, let's also clarify that people joining Kiwanis are joining for the community service first, not business. This is not BNI. This is not Latif.
Right.
So that's also, I think, something that's very important to have in those conversations. I love the tips. Now, folks, I want to remind you, as Val said, if you haven't been writing fast enough, that's okay, because as soon as this show goes off the air, just go right back to the videos tab underneath, and you'll be able to watch the entire show again to pick up all the little tidbits. By the way, the show we just had with Kaylee from the Possibilities Project a couple of weeks ago, right, Val? I just checked the views before we went on the air. 108,000 views for the Possibilities Project. That's right. And last week's show, Val reporting live from the Rose Float barn area, is closing in on about, I think, 65,000 views was the last view that I saw. So great stuff. Possibilities Project. Remember, we talked about some tips there too. Remember the old IDD project, folks? Collect the coins, put them in a jar at the end of every meeting. That's how we did it for IDD. Let's do it for Possibilities Project. All right, Val, you ready for some wow?
I am ready for some wow.
Done. It's time for some wow. All right.
I just love that. I feel like Wonder Woman when I see that on there, And the biggest wow for me, you guys, it is the International Rose Float, and this year was beyond amazing because we had animation. We actually stepped into this century, and animation is something that costs a lot on a float. The average float that you saw with animation usually is $800,000 plus to put together and get on the road. And with all of the volunteers, over 4,000 volunteers that showed up in the last 10 days, and all of the support from Kiwanis International and people that are listening and who have had commercials, we were able to do that for $150,000. That's pretty amazing. What's more amazing, and the biggest wow for me, is 68 million people got to see our float go down the road. And that is absolutely huge because Al and Hoda from the NBC Peacock Network talked about us. They went off script and showed us longer than they have shown us in the past. And so Al even made a comment about he did a bad dad joke about the bees.
Sting, baby! Who is the bees' favorite recording artist? Sting! Al Roker, my newest hero.
It was the buzz of the show.
Yeah.
Oh.
Think about if we had 10% of all those viewers say, wow, I want to know more about Kiwanis. 6.8 million people saying, I want to know more. Are we ready? I think we are. We just need to do the things that we're talking about. When someone asks us about Kiwanis, tell them, make sure that they understand that they will fit, and give them a darn application and get them in, get them doing stuff.
And it's okay to take people to other clubs as new members. If your club is not convenient for them, set up a time, go to another club with them. Take
Absolutely.
them and you'll still get credit for the member, but help build another club if they're not going to be a fit for yours. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. January now brings upon a new year. Do we have any mental health moment there, Miss Val?
Actually, we do have a mental health moment, and darn it, I'm going to need a graphic for this. I think so, because we have the opportunity to, as you started off the show saying, wipe the slate clean and start fresh. And so no matter what we didn't do, no matter what didn't go well in 2024, no matter how much drama there was, this week and moving forward, we get to move forward and put our best foot forward. So stop beating up on yourself, take charge, and start fresh.
All right, put in your request for a segment intro to Mr. John. He does such a wonderful job. By the way, I want to acknowledge my buddy Steve Nagel up in Edison, New Jersey. One thing many people are not aware of is that the Secretary's dashboard has a list of all former members of that club. His club makes it a role for the president-elect to reach out to them and invite them to come back to a meeting. Great idea. I love it. That's a great role for the president-elect. All right. Listen, it's the time we've all been waiting for. We're going to kick off 2025 with a whole new round of Did You Hear Bad Dad Jokes? All right, here we go. You ready for 2025 Bad Dad Jokes? If these don't send you out for a laugh, then I can't help you. All right, here you go. Did you hear about the restaurant on the moon? Great food, but no atmosphere. Okay, there you have it. That's the first one of the year to get us rock and rolling. I got Val going on that one. Kathy, it's okay. You can let the laughter out. You don't have to hold it in. It's okay. It's good for you if you let it out, as I'm still watching the snow back there. Did you hear about the man who was buried alive, by the way? Did you hear about this? Buried alive in snow? It was a grave mistake. I know. These are one-liners. Did you hear? Okay. Did you hear about the two radios that got married? Did you hear about this in the news? The reception was fantastic. I only read them, folks. I'm not making them up. Did you hear about the new corduroy pillows today? Did you hear about this? Oh, thank you, Andy. Appreciate you, buddy. Did you hear about the new corduroy pillows? Well, guess what? They're making headlines.
I even got that one.
Did you? It's funny. I had a corduroy shirt I was going to put on, but I thought that was going to give it away. I didn't want to do that. Hey, did you hear about the fire in the shoe factory? It's terrible. Did you hear about this? The fire in the shoe factory. Hundreds of souls were lost. I only read them. God, Val. No, Val, you can let it out. Really. Don't hold it in.
Poor Laura is backing up as far as she can to the window.
I noticed that. I noticed that. She's like, this is what you called me in for? Are you kidding?
No, they're great.
Hey, did you hear about the thieves who fell into wet cement, maybe? The thieves. This made breaking news. You didn't hear about this? They were hardened criminals. Oh, my goodness.
Tough crowd.
All right, last one, because I know you can't take it anymore. Hey, everybody in news is about unions and strikes, especially out in Vegas and all that stuff. But did you hear about the new janitors union? The janitors are, they need unions too. If you didn't hear about it, guess what? It's sweeping the nation. Okay, on that note, time to sweep our way. I should have done a shovel joke just for cat, which actually there was actually a shovel one because of all that snow back there. Hold on, let me find it while we wrap up here. Good, Rob. You want to take it away for a second? I got to find that. Oh, here it is. Did you hear about the new automatic shovel, Kathy? You need this up there. It's a groundbreaking invention. Okay. Maybe that wasn't as good as I thought when I read it before the show. Okay. All right, with that, I'm done. That's it for Bad Dad Jokes. Val, let's take it.
Kathy, did you bring a bad dad joke? Because I know that David is a major bad dad joke guy.
he left when he just told the shovel one. He wasn't around, so I'll have to remember it.
I'll just go back and rewatch the show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I wanted to, before we leave, is there any last thing that you wanted to share that you thought, if I didn't share this today, I don't know why I went on that darn Kiwanis Connects show. And Laura, do you have any of that, any last words of wisdom?
Well, wish me luck this next weekend. I'm speaking to the governors in Indianapolis, high 25, low 15. And I'm going to try and inspire them to set appointments and know how to do it. So I sure would appreciate a prayer or two on that one.
Take a couple of bad dad jokes with you.
I may need them, Aaron. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Get a few I could spare.
And Miss Kathy?
Absolutely. I can't stress enough. Laura touched on a little bit earlier. If your members don't want to call and make appointments, if your members don't feel comfortable, there is always something for every single member in your club. Just know what their strengths are and make sure that you're using them to help, because it might be that one member that you never thought was good at going on appointments could be the best person there is. So just know the strengths of your members to help you strengthen the members of your existing club.
Absolutely.
And when you get a new member, make sure that you put them to work immediately. Feel like they're valued.
Absolutely. So I am so appreciative that both of you came on the show. I adore both of you, and I learn from both of you all the time. And so for anybody out there, know that it isn't ever really comfortable when you first start, but it's taking that first step. It's asking, it's having the question, having the interactions, because people want to be around people who are happy and people who are doing great things. And so when they see a Kiwanian helping other people and making a difference in the world, there's no reason why they don't want to be a part of it. They just don't know what it is yet. And so we've got millions of potential new members out there. If each one of you can make that part of your resolution for the year to invite a new member this month, that would be fabulous. So Aaron, take it away.
Yes, ma'am. Great stuff today, ladies. Kathy, it's always good to see you, my friend. Laura, nice to see you as well. Great information. Folks, I encourage you to go back and watch this. Show it at your meetings as a training if you want to. Cut it up. Or also, this is literally breaking news. Val, do you remember a couple of weeks ago, we had the lady on from the Foundation for Blind Awareness?
Yes.
Sandra? Well, I spoke to Laura Metzer, who is the regional person out of Washington yesterday. Saturday, April 5th, the walkathon is going to be held right here in Virginia Beach for them. Mount Trashmore, which is literally 2 miles from my house. Yours truly is about 99% locked in to be hosting and emceeing that event for them and doing some fundraising for them. Literally just kind of came through as we were on the air. So April 5th, all you local Kiwanians, mark that down, where I'm going to come after you to get some teams together. And they only raised $65,000 last year. So the good thing is these walkathons, there's no joke intended here. They're not long walkathons because you've got blind people walking. So they're not long. Mount Trashmore Trail is about a mile around, and that's going to be it, plus but sponsors and everything. So mark that down. With that, everybody, be kind to everybody. Why? We are all we have. I now call this show adjourned.